Yo, my peoples, what's up? Welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. Jason here, and today I have a playthrough for Tindaya. This one is a survival style game for 1 to 4 players with a heavy Euro style resource management element. We are tribes people in the time of the Canary Islands off the coast of Spain. We are trying to survive and maintain our culture and livelihood in the face of invading conquistadors. Also, in the face of different natural disasters, typhoons and such that are going to come from the gods. Our job is to manage our resources, feed all of our people, and give offerings to the gods so that we can satiate their violence. If we're able to do so, we will win this solo playthrough of Tindaya. I have played this game already on the One Stop Co-op Shop in its preview form. I did the preview for the crowdfunding feature. I am so happy to have received the final production copy, including the deluxe elements that you will see throughout the game. And so this will be the definitive playthrough on the One Stop Co-op Shop of Tindaya. I cannot wait. We are the One Stop Co-op Shop. We are a gaming empire. We have our YouTube channel and our YouTube stream channel. Go ahead and like the video, subscribe to our channels. We have our podcast, gaming-focused discussion and interviews and game analysis. Peter, Mike, Steve, and myself, we got you covered for all the latest and greatest in solo and cooperative games. We also have our Discord. Please, it is wonderful community, free to join. You can join our Patreons for access to exclusive tiers. We would love the contributions so that we can keep the games flowing in front of our cameras. But please do not feel obligated. You can join the community in our Discord. It is free. Check the show notes below. We are the One Stop Co-op Shop, your one stop for solo and cooperative gaming goodness. So let me go ahead and give an overview of what you're about to see here in Tindaya. I'm not going to explain every rule here. That will emerge as a playthrough rolls on. This is the setup for the solo playthrough, and this is the personal board space. The game is the same as in the cooperative game, the solo that is. In the competitive game, it's also very similar with some differential goals. Here we're going to demonstrate the solo. You know how you roll here in the One Stop Co-op Shop. Tindaya uses an action selection system, which is going to use cubes, and you're going to assign the cubes, take the action, and that was going to be your turn. So the main set of actions are going to be on this part of the board over here, which represents making food for your peoples and also offerings for the gods. The hands represent production. If I assign a marker here, then I'm going to be able to produce depending on what kind of goat situation I have on the board. You'll see that as it develops, but I have lots of cute little goats. I'll make some milk. I'll be able to, make some advanced technologies. In this particular case, this would be the horn for battle and also some more hearty food right there. Once I unlock this technology, I will be able to make non-perishable food. Food over here perishes. That's bad. That'll get the gods angry. You want to be able to open up these technologies in order to make non-perishable food. How do you do that? Hey, look at that. You take this action, you pay this cost, and then you'll open up that technology. Having cylinders is great because they allow you to take actions twice. If I were to put my action marker there, I would be able to produce twice based on what I have available to me on the board. But then the cylinder would go away from the rest of the game. So managing this little extra boosted actions is very, very important here in Tindaya. For these two technologies, the fishing area and also the pig pen, they begin locked. But there is a bot faction, and along the way I can learn from them and unlock one or both of these technologies, and then I will take that marker, I would have that as an available action, and then later I'll be able to develop them and get these cylinders. Probably the most important action you're going to take in Tindaya is coordinating your movement. So this space is open. You can place as many markers in here as you want. You would place your marker there, and you would get 3 movement actions. So you move one piece 3 times, or you can move 3 pieces 1 time. You can split the movement however you decide. And there's all sorts of things that happen after you land on a space. You can collect different resource tiles. You can make new settlements. So it'd be very important to kind of spread out the settlements as These figures will destroy whatever settlements are on the island, so you want to be able to move to other places, make up camp right there. You have to be very nimble. Matter of fact, it's probably my favorite part of Tindaya. The fact that it challenges you to be so nimble and gives you the resources to be like, oh, I have a farm over here. It's going to get destroyed. I better move that over there to another island where there's going to be less disaster. I love how nimble you have to be and how much you have to think in that way here in Tindaya. When a noble ends their movement at one of the 8 volcanoes, they can make an offering. So you're going to make a lot of stuff. Some of it's going to go to the gods. So in this particular case, in Era 1, I would have certain offerings. In Era 2, a couple more. Era 3, a couple of more complex ones. So they are hungry. You have to feed them or else they are going to ravage the land. So as you feed them, they'll get calmer. This is the anger track over here. Which means that their area of effect on the board is going to shrink. If you do not feed them, then they get more and more angry. There's also other conditions that'll make them more angry. If one of them reaches this destruction space, then that is the end of the game. You lose. But we're not going to plan for that. We're going to plan to satisfy the gods and get them nice and calm. So, in addition, I'm able to give some fire to the seer. So this is manure, wood, or straw. I can contribute those additional resources to the seer, which would allow me to foretell different disasters for future eras. In the first era, I know what they are. Apparently, the seer, I did a good job foreseeing disaster. So this is Acheron and this is Moneba. So I will be able to know in the first round what they're going to do to my island. In future rounds, I need to give them sacrifices so that I know what they're going to do and where they're going to do it. So if I'm able to give them 2, I can do both of those things. If I only give them 1, then I'm only going to be able to pick either what they're going to do or where they're going to do it. So I have to make sure that I give them nice offerings so I know what's coming. As I place offerings on these offering cards, I'm going to be able to draw an idol per card that I satisfy. So I hope that I can draw some nice one-shot bonuses out of that idol deck. The end of my round is going to be a pretty complex chain of events that happen. So you would go through all 9 of these. You would feed your people, make sure there's not a lot of garbage. When things spoil and add up a little bit, they're going to appear here. And then a couple of other things happen as well. This is the area, this card, that will determine all of the attacks that are going to happen on the island. That card is right there, and I'm going to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each of the cards has a different attack depending on what it is. Conquistadors are going to come out, volcanoes are going to explode, all sorts of stuff. And then I would flip that, and then Era 2 and Era 3 would tell me different places and different orders of attack. Eventually, I'm going to end the round, and that's going to turn over into round 2. Along the way, I have a couple more things to track. So this tells me that I can only gather 7 total resources here in the medium level game, which is what I'm playing. Here, depending on the population of my villagers, I cannot allow the conquistadors to multiply past that. So if I have 5, 6, 7 villagers, then I can only have 8 conquistadors on the board. If I ever have more than that, then the bot automatically wins. Also, I have pulled this card, which is the variable goals that I have to meet. In the single player game, I have to have technologies developed up to 4 in this medium difficulty game. There's so much more to say, but I'm so excited to play. I'm going to dive right in and explain everything else along the way. All right, so we are ready to get started. I already know what the gods are going to do this turn. Moneba, I think it's Moneba, right? The female god of the sea is going to basically take this whole area out. So I am here. I need to not be here by the end of the round. This is Acheron. They are going to take out whatever farm is on this area. Right now, there is no farm, but it tells me that I shouldn't make one this coming turn, so I got to adjust to that too. Movement is fairly straightforward in Tindaya. 1 movement equals 1 movement of a hex. Except for the sea, a little bit special. So what I need to build is a canoe. I started the game with 2 forests because I placed my initial settlement on a forest. So I was able to take that tile. I'm going to use that, and I'm going to build myself a canoe. So then for 1 movement, I can move from land hex to land hex using this canoe. So it'll be like this, and then I would land here, and that would be 1 total movement with all of these villagers. In order to use a canoe, or at least in order for the villagers to use the canoe, the noble needs to go with them. If I end the turn here, I'm going to uncover this tile and acquire it. Theoretically, I could use another move to move one of my villagers to acquire this one too. However, the rules are specific, especially in cooperative, that you cannot totally eradicate the resources of an isle. So I could only get this tile, so it doesn't make sense for me to move this one as going to be the end of this group's movement. For my next move, I'm going to spend another wood, my last wood, on another canoe to get my noble over here. So once again, you can move from area to area, 1 movement, as long as it's in a straight line. I couldn't zigzag. As long as it's in a straight line, that is all good. The noble is going to move here for 2 and uncover this at the end of their movement. I cannot move this villager out of the way because the instant that villager leaves this area, these goats get returned to the wilderness, and I like my goats. I'm going to keep them around. So for the last movement of the turn, I'm going to split off this villager and go here. Eventually, I want 2 villagers to inhabit this area because I already know I'm going to be attacked by this conquistador. And I need 2 of my figures in order to defend them. So once they get over here and I get the requisite number of weapons, I'll be able to defend against this guy. So that's my 3 moves. Let's go ahead and do the end of turn stuff. So I am going to get some obsidian. Oh, I got 3 weapons, and so I am loaded for bear now. I'm going to gather some wood here. Yeah, baby. So this says 3. It's 1, 2, or 3, so I got the best one, plus whatever the era is. So if I have this in era 3, this would be 6 wood, kind of reflecting the fact that wood grows. Look at that. They thought of everything. But because it's nice and early, that would be 4. That is more than enough. So if anybody knows me, the thing that I like to do in games more than anything else, in any game whatsoever, is to hunt and kill conquistadors. All right, so let me go ahead and spend one of my wood on another canoe. So these canoes will just hang out here. If this is a multiplayer game, anybody can use one of the canoes. I'm hopeful that I've made a little bridge network over here. I won't have to spend too much more wood. So that I'm going to move along here and I'm going to directly end this movement with these 2 characters on this fort. So I have 4 obsidian. I'm going to spend 2 of those weapons. So you need people and weapons to match how as many conquistadors as there are there. Let's go ahead and spend those 2. I have 2 left. And boom! I clear this out and reconquer the fort. And it turns into, well, it doesn't turn anything yet. It will turn into something at the end of the turn, but I've cleared out the conquistadors. And they are now in my cells. Ho, ho, ho! We know exactly what we have planned for you, and you know it! Be afraid! So I did all that with 1 movement. Let's go ahead and do a second movement right there. And I'm just going to end the movement here because I know I'm going to. So then this is, what do I get over here? 2 stone and an obsidian. Why not? I will take it. And I'm going to make a goat farm right there. In solo, this is the wilderness, so it's going to be populated with 1 times number of players, 1 plus 2, so 3 in each area. So I have to be really careful here because there's no more. At the end of the round, there's going to be a reproduction phase. So if there's 2 or more, I get another. So I'm able, because I made that goat farm, to take 2 from the wilderness, leaving alone 1. Problem being, 1 does not reproduce. So that would be all of the goats that will be available to me. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just capture 1 and allow these 2 goats in the wilderness to mate and put my lone little goat right there. Last thing I'm going to do is going to move the noble to the volcano. I think I'm ready to make my offering. I started the game with a fish. That is perfectly fine right there. I have obtained plenty of obsidian along the way. I'm happy to provide 1 to the god, leaving me with 2. I have grain, so I should be able to make grain. However, I don't have that technology unlocked. So I could play the game such that I unlock the technology, make the grain, and offer it to the gods. But look who showed up. Los conquistadors are going to be an offering for the god. This is the most glee that I ever feel in a game. Get in there! Get in that fiery mountain, conquistador. I don't want to hear you. No! And when I offer things to the gods, I get to pull from the idol deck 2 cards for 2 different offering cards satisfied. The idols I have obtained are as follows. 1. Oh, I get to remove 2 tokens from the my personal area. That is really crucial. So I've already pulled 5 out of 7 tokens. So I wouldn't be able to do much gathering at all. But that is what the idols are for. So I'm going to do that right now to get rid of 2 of these tokens. So I am able to gather more throughout the game. That is very key. And also, at any time, I can use not an action, just kind of use one of my activations to produce one time. Nice to have. Going to hold on to that one. That came at a really clutch time because I was really considering whether I wanted to use my last wood because I was under limitations for gathering. But since those have been removed a little bit, eased up, I get to place offerings and offer 2 of this resource. Let's go ahead and do my last move of the turn. So let's go 1 to guard against the conquistadors. That's fine. And I'm going to end my round here next to this native who is on this area where I can learn fishing. So one of the end of round steps is that if a noble ends in an occupied area of the tech that I don't know, then I learn it. And so that's going to give me an extra action token, open up all sorts of stuff. Beautiful. And so those are the ends of my regular tokens. I was going to use a cylinder to produce so that I can actually feed my people because I have nothing. But the idol card bailed me out. So I'm able to produce 1 just off of the idol card. So that is completely perfect. So what I'm going to do is check the number of goats that I have under control. And under control means they are controlled by villagers. Nobles can prevent goats from running away, but they don't actually milk the goats. Why would a noble milk the goats? That makes no sense whatsoever. So I have 3 goats, and I'm going to get 3 milk. I'm going to slaughter one of my goats, the one goat that was kind of free-floating over there. That goes into the reserve, not in the wilderness. That goat is gone. And I am going to get 1 horn and 1 meat out of it. I can now feed all of my peoples. And so we are going to run through this whole thing one at a time. First step is reproduction. Anything that has a pair is going to mate in the wilderness. We have more. So 4 pigs and 3 goats. And this is a little love nest over here. We get 1 more goat. And 1 more villager. The love shack is a little lone place where... So yeah, the conquistadors would have reproduced as well had I let them live. No living for you, conquistadors. Get out. The next step is feed your people. Nobles feed themselves, but the villagers have to be fed. That's why that production phase was so crucial. So I'll be able to take this milk and this meat and feed my people. 4, nothing spoiled. Did not have to touch my reserve. Perfect. Step 3 is check for spoils. That would make one of the gods angry. If I'm not able to feed my people and they die, that makes one of the gods angry. I think that's Moneba. Acheron wants me to keep the place clean. I may have that switched, but both of them are going to get mad. And so if they die, if they die, one of them gets mad. If we leave garbage, the other one gets mad. Able to satisfy both those conditions. Not only can your people die by not eating, they can also die from being exposed to the elements. So next round, if I get another villager, which I plan to, I need to spend an action to open up this cave. But because I have a cave for 4 of the villagers out now, they live, God is satisfied. Let us make the offerings. Goodbye, conquistadors. Oh. And I'm able to get those. The gods are satisfied. Their wrath is lowered by 1. The area of effect is lowered by 1 as well. And now I run through these 6 attacks in order. And so this god is going to take my poor settlement. No. Take away these resources. Take away the entire area. This is what this card says. This is kind of a Tempest card. Everything here dies. And even the volcano dies. It is shrouded in mist. So now this is all just water. I'm going to put the tiles here just to indicate that there was something here before. The ship is about to invade and set up their fort, but then shroud. I love that. That's amazing. Number 2 is the white ship. They're going to attack this fort over here, but they did not count on me having a goat antler and an obsidian for them. 2 of them invade. They basically throw themselves into my jail. Oh, not that. That one. They get in there, conquistadors. You know exactly where you're going to go in a very, very short while. All right, the 2 ships are next. They are 3 and 4. So they, since they're not near me, and this ship wonders what the heck, what's going on? So they're going to turn and they're going to go ahead and attack the nearest forest, basically. So they're going to remove those and they are going to set up shop right here. So then 2 conquistadors are going to be right there, and 2 conquistadors are going to be right there. They're wondering what's going on over here, but they're like, oh, this is a nice place. There's no way that's going to explode. Boom! Never mind. They are gone. Everything here is gone. So we are going to remove that. Oh, I love that. They're like Abbott and Costello over there. They are gone. And so what happens is that this becomes surrounded by volcanic ash. So as you can see, there is now a land bridge that is going to connect these 2 things. So I don't need, if I happen to make it over here, who knows if I'll do that. But if I do, I wouldn't have to walk across here. This is now one island. And now I take the rest of the starters, these resource tiles over here, and these special tiles, which tend to favor a little bit more obsidian. And now if I really, really need to, I can mosey on over there and get some more obsidian. And this one, since there is no actual farm there, the fort doesn't count, they will be removed from the board without effect. Next phase is learning. I am at an area that I don't know with a native that knows what I don't know. With my noble, I am able to acquire that, and now I will have an ability to unlock these technologies and build these settlements, and also, very importantly, have an extra action marker for next turn. So much good. Actually, never mind. I was a little bit overzealous. This does not get covered, so that is available for things to be placed next turn. And so now we check to see if anybody died, if I had villagers and nobles wiped out. Otherwise, if I had no characters left, I would lose the game. But I have at least 1 noble and 1 villager out. I'm fine. So now we deal with the seers. I was only able to place 2. So it's 2 per fire, actually. I may have misspoke before and said that it was 1 per fire. No, it is 2. It's pretty expensive to light a fire up there. So I'm able to reveal 1 thing. So it's actually much better to know where things are happening than what's happening. So I can deal with what's happening. I kind of know. There's 5 of those cards each, so I can kind of guess around what's going to happen. Plus, I don't want to be near them anyway. It's really important, though, that I know where they are. And so when I reset the board for the second era, I will have these placed already. All right, we are at a new era. I got very lucky with the lady placement over here and her tsunami. Not going to do a thing. However, that's not going to help me too much either. The volcano, forget about the volcano. All the way down here, not going to worry about that. But I do need to make sure that the wrath is down, because if I do not do their condition and the volcano explodes at 2, well, there you go. There goes that. Don't know if I like the idea of that. This character, the Acheron character's cards, I don't know what they do because I didn't satisfy that foretelling, but I know that they tend to kill tribesmen and animals, so just get out of there. That's what's going to happen. The ships get placed by rolling these 3 dice. I rolled those, and that's where they are, nice and clustered around where I am. All right, I got my 4 actions. First of all, let's go ahead and take care of some maintenance stuff. We're going to spend a clay and a stone to get this last technology, which will get me access to cheese when I produce off of here. Next thing I'm going to do is a single move action, which grants me 3 total movement. I'm going to move my noble out of here. I checked the rules. It doesn't specifically say anything about chasms and canoes. I think I'm okay just to treat the chasm as a sea space, and the chasm aspect is just for the sake of enemies. So we're just going to go with that for now. So that is a move for 1. And then I'm going to go 2, 3. And we're going to get this wood, which is 1. But I get the extra for the era 2 because a little bit more growth. So that's 3 total wood from there. And also some clay, which will be 2 clay. So now I have 3 clay, which is utmost importance. I'm now going to use my personal skill. So this is a card that you get at the beginning of the game that kind of identifies your tribe. You get a little special power. In this particular case, Tindaya are able to buy these offering cards at -1. So the offering cards are special. They are a market that is just there, and they're static every game. Anyone can buy it as to spend an action, but they don't spend a cube. They just take one of their turns, and they can buy something from there at a -1 resource discount. And here is that market amidst all the other stuff that I have laid over here. There's a lot over here. Leave me alone. A little bit messy. But I am going to spend 2 on this one, which is a vessel, which means that if I attach it to a place, and anything that I put in there, normally I could only store so much non-perishable stuff. In this vessel, I can store infinite stuff, and it won't spoil. And so this counts for everything out here. So if I make a bunch of cheese, which maybe I'm going to do that, I can, normally the limit would be 3, and I'd have to throw the rest in the garbage. No longer. And oh, by the way, at the end of that movement, I make a farm. All right, so let's start using the cylinders. Finally, I know you're waiting for that. So we are going to use a cylinder produce, which means do this twice. So the first time, I'm going to use my 3 goats to make 3 milk. I'm going to ignore this. That's fine. Second time, I'm going to make another 3 milk right there. And I'm going to slaughter all 3 of the goats on the second production. So I had 3 goats. I no longer have goats. I'm officially out of the goat market. And so I'm going to get 3 horns and 3 meat from that. Now that I have this open, I can save as much as I want. I spend 1 wood. 1 wood is like basically making 1 fire, so you can kind of smoke these things a little bit. So now I have 2 wood left, and I can take as much milk as I want and put them in the vessel. Now, normally, I'd only be able to put 3 before I'd have to worry about spoilage, but I can actually split that up a little bit. I can put 2 in there. And save that for the next round and have 1 milk left. There is 1 milk that is required for the offering. And so I'm going to leave that for the offering. So now I have tons of stuff and it's not going to spoil. It took me a long time to think all that through, but I think it is all worth it. And so now I'm going to use my last cylinder that I have at present and do a cylinder move. That is going to be taking my canoe. 1, let's clear out. I was serious about getting out of the goat business. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3 and plant another farm right there. Bam. And since that was a cylinder move, now I get to have some fun over here. So now we're going to leave 2 of them here so that they can reproduce guard stuff and all that good things. And then we're going to go 1 and take out these conquistadors with our new goat horns. So then we're going to spend 2 of those goat horns. I have 1 left. And we're going to go ahead and remove that, and turn that into a settlement as well. Ho-ho! Oh, baby, look at that. Perfectly geometric. And that I still have 2 movements left. So though we are going to go 1, and we're going to claim this resource. And I'm going to need that since this ship will attack both of my settlements. So I need to make sure that it is going to... I have 2 people here, and they have enough weapons to withstand everybody's assault. Otherwise, I'm in a little bit of trouble. So let's go ahead and make sure I can do that. So that is going to be 3. And now I get to make my offering. All right, I've been setting this up for a very, very long time off camera. I get to finally pay it off. I'm very excited. First of all, I'm going to build my cave. I plan on opening up at least 1 of them, maybe 2. Now they'll live. So I have to spend 1 wood, 1 clay, and 1 stone on that. Okay, now I have to move that over here. Actually, I'm going to use a cylinder on this, and that is to develop my technology over here. So then I would spend 1 wood and 3 stone, leaving me with very little, if anything. But I get my action markers and I open up this tech, which is really important because that is one of the end game conditions. I needed to open at least 4 tech, and I was able to do that this turn. So 1 player, 4 tech, and the medium. So I have satisfied that. And just in case I want some, I probably won't, but at least I have that. This one was the most important thing, though. And so I am going to do regular production right here. So right now I have 4 dudes on the map on farm spaces. There they are. 1, 2, 3, 4. I count the villagers. I do not count the nobles. That gets me 1, 2, 3, 4 figs right there. And the number of farms that I control, I'm going to get these materials. So I'm going to get 3 straw and 3 cereal right there. I don't have the wood dispense, so I can't make the permanent non-perishable food, but I got plenty of that. It's all good. Very, very expensive round. I'm going to use my second to last cylinder on a cylinder move. So this ship is trying to take out this settlement over here, and they're also going to attack this. Ships attack every settlement on an island. This ship would attack both of these settlements too, which means I would need a lot of weaponry in order to defend against all that. We're not going to do that. So we're going to go 1, 2, abandon ship. You two go stay over here and reproduce. That is going to be 3. So let's go ahead and do an offering. Offering, milk, gotcha. Offering, pig, conquistador. Wee, wee, wee. Diet of fire. Offering, pork chop. Right between the conquistador, the pork chop, I'm going to imagine that is more conquistadors sitting right there. Excellent. So offering, fig, which is going to be conquistador. Ah! Offering, side of pork, which I don't have any pork, so we're going to continue to offer conquistadors. And this salt that I got at the very beginning of the game, that's just lying around. So I was able to satisfy all of the conditions. They can't move down any further. They are happy. Because I put 2 offerings for each card that I was able to put on, I pull an idle card. So the idle card is going to be a free wall somewhere, which would guard against these things. I might need that. But am I going to put that down now? I'm not sure. Probably save it for next turn. And also a free offering. So one of these areas I could fill up with this card. So next round, like the most difficult, this is like the level 3 non-perishable food. If I get something that I am not good at, I could just use that and move on. Good cards. Always good cards. And I really tried hard to satisfy both conditions, but I don't have any wood, I don't have any manure, and I only have the 3 straw and not the 4 that I need. So I'm going to keep 1 straw, I'm going to give them 2, and so once again, I know where the disaster is going to strike, not necessarily what is going to happen. And so since that was a cylinder move, I get to finish that off. They're going to end up right there. And then this is going to cross over here just in case I need to kind of move over there for the next round. All right, end of turn stuff. The animals in the wilderness reproduce. All those goats I slaughtered are back, waiting to be reclaimed. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. More villagers equals more control equals more stuff to produce. There are now 6 villagers, and they are hungry. So they are going to eat these 2. They're going to eat these 4. So I was able to get away with not touching my stores at all. I know this has been warping the entire playthrough. All of the boards that I received are warping. I want to see if I can contact the company to try to get some replacement boards. I'm not sure if your board has your copy of Tindaya has a board warping problem as well. It's just hilarious that like this started just regularly flat, and then through the course of the playthrough, Anyway, as I was saying, used all my perishable food, kept all my non-perishable food. So next round, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just have a lot of food. I don't have to worry about producing, at least on the food end, for the next and final round. Everyone is fed. Everyone is housed. Everyone is housed. No spoilage. The gods are happy. The gods are extremely happy to eat Conquistador face. Oh, man. Get in there, you son! Madre de Dios! Oh! I know. I have dreams of this game. I couldn't wait to get the production copy so I could do that again. So now I fire off the villains. The Era 2 effect for Moneba would have been to kill one of the kill fishing areas. There is no fishing area. Bye-bye. And then the Acheron character is going to kill people around. There would have been some protection, but there are no people around. I cleared that out, but good. The tsunami specifically does not affect volcanic tiles, so they are both going to be removed from the board without effect. And now all 3 ships launch their attacks. So then they are going to launch their attack at both settlements. So the settlements are going to get turned around and turned into forts. So we have a fort right there, we have a fort right there, and conquistadors are going to be placed on both. The same goes for this gray one over here. They're going to once again attack the fort and place conquistadors there as well. So at this point, I really need to manage, to make sure that they are under the threshold. Right now, I have 8, almost the in total. So the board can have up to 9. Right now, they have 6, so I'm under. I'm fine. They would have more, but I planned this out. I have 3 obsidian weapons and 1 goat horn for you. So we are going to put that down. I'll go ahead and ignore that flying token over there. And we're going to get some flying conquistadors. That is 4 conquistadors that have thrown themselves upon my weapons and into my jail. Perfect. And finally, the volcano erupts, removing these tokens and replacing them all with rock and obsidian. You'll see that when I come back. Still have at least 1 noble and 1 villager, so I checked the defeat condition. I'm good there. I revealed 1, so these 2 cards will be hidden, but I get to see the next placement of where everything is going to happen. So you'll see these numbers line up, and also that'll flip to card 3, and so the order of baddie triggering will be right there. All right, so we are now set up for Era 3, the final one. The Acheron god is now not bothering me anymore. Moneba started off round 2 somewhere off, but now it is their revenge. They are right on top of me, and the ships are also kind of, they're a little bit spread out, but this one, not liking the way they are. So once again, this is a survival game. Do not get attached to what you have built. All you have to do is survive in order to win the game. Okay, so we are going to migrate, engage in the Great Migration. So we are going to spend 1 cube to move. They are going to go here, and while we're here, let's go ahead and get that offering done right away. New cards been laid out. In Era 3, I have to satisfy the much more difficult conditions, but they're not much more difficult for me because you know why. Fry! You heathens, fry! Yes! Well, not that one. I don't have to fulfill that one. So let's go ahead and put that there. I actually have cereal, but I'm actually going to deny the god cereal. I'll tell you why I'm not going to satisfy Moneba's condition in a little bit, or I'll show you. But I do have the straw for that. 1 lone conquistador remains in my prisons. Not going to satisfy the seer because I don't have to. This is almost the end of the game. That was 1 move. So now we are going to engage in the Great Migration. 2, 3. Everybody is on this tile right there. They don't fit, but take my word for it. And oh, by the way, for satisfying those conditions, or at least satisfying a part of the offering cards, I get to get 2 more, and a produce in case I need, which I do not, and learning a trade, which I will not. So, oh well. I was going to say better to have them than not to have them, but really, they might as well be blank cards. So now let us come in from behind these conquistadors and take care of them all. So I am actually going to take all of these villagers out of the way. And this will be a stand-in for the rest of my people. Think of like an RPG, how everyone collapses into like the leader. Here is my leader. So we're going to take this one. We're going to go 1, 2, 3 for my second move of the turn. This is the last resource that I can take. This is my 7th token. So I need this to be obsidian. It is obsidian. It has a better chance of being obsidian in these gray tokens anyway. So I felt pretty good about all of that. So then we have that. I have my 2 obsidian, and I am going to use my next action to attack this fort with all of my village, not just one. It is literally everybody that is coming in, and we are going to capture those conquistadors. And we have a mountain over there, and we are going to turn that into... I would capture more goats, but it doesn't even matter. I have some actions left, but it doesn't even matter. Once again, the paradigm of survival. I'm going to pass turn right there, and that is the end of my actions for Era 3. All right, reproduction time. And I also get my last villager, just in case I needed it for some odd reason. But there they are. Matters for a conquistador, they'll kind of to have dominance and not let them get control, but that's fine. Can I feed all of them? Of course I can feed all of them. You've been keeping track of this game. Each of these actually counts for 2, and I got plenty. So, I mean, there's just so much food left over. I don't even have to worry about it. And they're also housed, so I don't have to worry about that. There is no garbage, so the gods are satisfied all around on that. Acheron is satisfied. Going to chomp down on some conquistadors. That is fine. Moneba is chomping down too, but they said, "What? You didn't satisfy me fully?" So the first thing that operates is the tsunami. Guess what they do? No! In a 2 arc radius, they eliminate all of the tiles in that radius and turn it all into barren water wonderland. So this is all gone, and she won't even get to do anything anymore because her wave did so good. So all of that is gone, and those conquistadors that were all over here, that tough luck. You got nothing going on, do you? The volcano goes, but the anger is sated. Nothing actually changes right there. And hey, look at that. I'm just watching it blow. The whole village is watching it blow. It's so beautiful. All the ships would put out new forts, combining to 6 total conquistadors, but they do not outnumber my 9 villagers that have survived the cataclysms and everything that has happened here on the Canary Islands, which means I have won this game of Tindaya. Do you remember all those islands at the beginning of the game? Do you remember how fertile this land was? Well, I mean, look at this thing. An entire island disappeared over here. Volcanoes and tsunamis. But the only important thing is this group of people, hopefully they can find a new home and they're happy wherever they are. I adore this game. It was my pleasure to bring this hopefully more robust, it was my absolute pleasure to bring this hopefully more robust, more attentive to detail playthrough of Tindaya. Now that I have the production copy and I've gotten a couple of plays in, I'm sure I've made mistakes and I'll edit those in post. But for the most part, I'm pretty confident that most, if not all, everything that you've seen here is on the up and up. If it is not, if you still notice a rule mistake has snuck in there, I appreciate it if you note it. But please be nice. Don't just fly in there with your correction. Just say that you appreciate the playthrough and say that you appreciate the efforts of myself and also everybody in the One Stop Co-op Shop. We do this completely for free. And we have our Patreon. We do get review copies, but no direct payment actually comes to us. And so for all the work that we do, Anytime someone gives an appreciative comment, that is really all the payment that we need. So if you do make a rules correction, throw in that appreciative comment, and that'll go a lot better for you. And so that was Tindaya. Highly, highly, highly recommended. This is Jason with the One Stop Co-op Shop, reminding you that we will see you at the next step.